He's not here today. So, Murray's not here, right? Okay, so, alrighty. So we'll call the roll. Everybody's present except for Murray Dixon. And we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have we had a chance to review the prior minutes? We have two. The
Me and Toad both were going to that meeting, so
Oh,
so it's gonna be Jody.
I make a motion to approve the executive meeting minutes.
and Mr. Benj was absent, so I guess who seconds that if you're the only one that was here?
Well, you can
I can second it.
Yeah.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those are approved. The town council meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve those.
Have everybody sign this one?
Okay.
Okay, and then
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Okay. Reports. Clerk, or utilities?
Underwater, the water plant's treated 1,021,950 gallons of water since August 11th. Our average daily usage has been 72,996. Filters were backwashed on August 14th, 21st, and 25th. Water meters have been read for the month of August. We have taken our annual trihalomethane and haloacetic acid tests for chlorine disinfection byproducts, as well as our lead and copper tests. And this completes our standardized testing for 2020. Your wastewater been performing daily checks at the lift station and the sewer plant. The lift station's pumped 1,408,551 gallons since August 11th, and our daily average has been 100,610 gallons per day. Sewer plant is closed and we're not discharging. Our weekly sewer samples are complete. The August wastewater report's complete, and that's been submitted right in. The manhole on Hopkins Drive has been lowered with a new flat top lid. Streets, the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit sign has been posted on South Central. And the 5 trees have been removed and the stumps ground. We'll be cleaning up those stumps. The backhoe has been broken. And the steering link broke on the backhoe. I went out to repair it. I had replaced both sides. The other side was about to break. The cost is approximately $1,700. Haven't got that bill yet, but the parts were like $1,261, and Reynolds said based on their hourly fee that it was going to be between $350 and $500. But they haven't sent the bill. Under building, I've had 2 building inspections, 1 electrical inspection, 2 zoning inquiries, 2 building permit inquiries. And Triad will be here at 9:30 a.m. to inspect the work at the subdivision. I've looked at everything, and the only thing that's not done, which really will have to wait until the houses are built, is like the final grade on the meter pits, riser boxes, and things like that. Once the yard is, ready to be final graded, and I would like approval to issue those building permits if the engineer is satisfied tomorrow. I have 22 permits on file for Wade Journey right now, and they've paid all their fees. So if they're already, if Josh is coming out tomorrow, if any of you want to come, but if they're satisfied, I know on the grade work that was done out there, they did have Miller Surveying out there taking grade shots around those areas of concerns for the elevations, and they set grade stakes out there that operating the dozer graded to, for that. And one of them is a big swale. I mean, it's big. And they did them in 2 places and then took care of the issue on the south end as well, so.
Well, I make a motion, we give Andy permission, approval to issue the building permits if the engineer is satisfied.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
That's what we'll do. That's all I have unless you have any questions.
sweet.
We're getting shut off today.
No.
Clerk treasurer.
You guys should have my utility report. We had another anonymous donor, send a check in today for, $3,000 to help, different ones in town on utility bills.
Wow.
So we'll be working on that tomorrow, yeah, which was very
Wow.
nice, very kind of them. I've not heard anything back from Trex. I've sent the MOU to them. I've emailed them again and called them again, so I'm hoping that I hear from them. I don't know if this is COVID stuff or what, but it seems like people are not responding like they should, but hopefully, we'll get all that in place and be able to have everything uploaded in a file by October, and then that will be the last time that we can actually file for this year, and then we'll start again in January. So, so just waiting to hear back from them on that. I do have a resolution here, for you guys to sign. When we had the community crossing grant, we're closing out that grant now, so I had to empty out that fund, so when we got the grant, we actually took the special LOIT money and put in that grant fund. And then once everything was taken care of, and we still had some of our 10% that needed to go back into this special LOIT fund. So I talked to State Board of Accounts, and they said the best way to track that is just by a resolution, to have you guys sign it. So what was left, I put back into the LOIT fund. And just a reminder, our public hearing for budget will be September 8th at 7 o'clock, and then the adoption will be September 22nd at 7 o'clock.
So this is a resolution?
This is a resolution.
So they'll need to have at least a reading
A
and
reading of
pass.
that, okay.
I mean, just one, but, and then.
Atlanta Town Council Resolution R08-2020-25, a resolution transferring funds. The Town Council of the Town of Atlanta, Indiana, Hamilton County does hereby make the resolution to transfer the sum of $2,413.06 from the local road and bridge match to Light Special Distribution Fund, past this 31st day of July 2020.
It's retroactive. They
Okay.
told me just go ahead and retroactive for the day I transferred it, so.
Sorry, Toby?
Motion, we pass the resolution.
I make a motion we pass it? Or did you?
That's what I was
Okay.
making a motion that we pass the
I'll
resolution.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Jennifer, anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Mr. Jellison?
I provided each one of you with a weekly log, and I will do that prior or at each one of your meetings, so you can kind of see the activity that I'm either initiated or following up on. There's some reports attached to this to the packet that I gave you. I'm happy to provide those to you at each meeting if you feel that those are beneficial to you. Those reports are living documents. In other words, each time I go or follow up or get called back to that particular address, it will be in the narrative section of that report. So you can kind of follow the progress. There's about 4 properties around town that I've identified as kind of priority properties. Some of them are in some really bad condition, and they didn't get there overnight, and it's probably not something we're gonna remediate overnight. But the way I've tried to handle it is I've tried to stay in contact with the residents or the property owner, and just, you know, just talk to them and say, where are we at, what kind of progress have you made, and just trying to achieve, you know, the best for the town and for the resident. Was there, you know, what I have found out was, and you know, I'm sure you folks know, is some of these residents and property owners do not have means to remediate the situation, and they've kind of asked me, what help can a town give? So that's something that I'll be turning to the board in the future. If, you know, if we encounter that resident that does express a bona fide need and does not have the means to remediate it, what kind of help can we give them? And again, it's, you know, I think our ultimate goal is to achieve what's best for the town and the people that live here. So that's pretty much where I'm at into my first week. It's been interesting, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for this. This will keep us on top of it too,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's
Just-
important because you folks live in the community, I do not. And, you know, you have contact with the people that live here, so I think it's good. You at least have, you know, some knowledge as to what's going on in case they do ask you a question. Of course, I'm always available by phone call or by email.
I'd like to make a comment if I can, at corner of Central Meridian. We all know which house we're talking about. I forget her address. It's Debbie, your last name.
Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, there's old mattresses and box springs and bicycles. She's lost her water. She hadn't been on water for over 3 years. She's lost her trash pickup privileges, and now she's got 2 huge
Grills.
out front. So you're very well aware of it, and
Yeah, I've been by that residence, spoke with her in person. You know, the weeds in the backyard are probably 5.5 foot tall.
yeah.
She does have a box spring, some trash on the east side of her residence. Finally, I was able to make contact with her. She just recently had eye surgery. It was evident from an eye patch that she had on. And I just kind of spoke with her about, okay, how do we kind of just address some of these issues? And, you know, one problem too is she's continuously parking on the sidewalk there. The only progress I've seen is she's moved some grills from one side of the house to the street. You know, I explained to her that if we don't get cooperation, you know, that she potentially could receive a citation. And, you know, she's one of these people too that just looked at me and said, you can write me all, and I'm not about writing tickets, but she said, you can write me all the tickets you want, I'm not gonna pay them, I don't have money. So, does she have the ability to pay someone to haul that trash away? I don't think she's physically capable of going into that backyard and remediating the weed problem. She told me she does not have running water, she told me she does not have trash service, so everything you said is correct. And again, at some point, I'm going to ask the board, you know, what do we do? What suggestions do you have when you come across someone like that? I don't think she's being obstinate, I just don't think that she has the physical ability to go out and cut down.
We've remediated that property twice already.
Have you? Okay.
And put a lien on it. Yeah.
And nothing gets done, and it's an eyesore, and it causes rats and mice, which causes cats, you know, just one problem after another after another. And I don't know whether the town would be willing to haul some of that stuff off. I don't know, but I'm getting tired of looking at it. And she lives right across the street from me, by the way, and it's just can't seem to do much for Debbie. The more you do, the more she expects, so I don't know.
You know,
I don't wanna get into being a trash man and, private property. We can't do maintenance and things on people's private property. We do it for one, we gotta start doing it for all. And I think with you notifying them that there's issues that violating the ordinances, that they need to try and make contact with church organizations, or I don't know if, residents can contact like the probation and get probation everywhere. I don't know if they'll do that for private residential issues like this, or, cause I know that they do have, community service workers that they do allow to do work for municipalities and different church organizations, non-for-profit. Now, whether they'll do it for, that's the only two things that I can think of off the top of my head that she could possibly try to contact some type of organization or group or Boy Scout group or somebody like that that could possibly come in and do something like that to help her.
I'll pursue some community options, along that route, and you make some very good suggestions there, and see what kind of help we can get her.
You're probably gonna get a lot of that from some of these people whenever you go,
Everybody's got a story, sir, and,
absolutely.
I try to.
Some of them are legit and a lot of them not,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
but, the town, I don't wanna start the town, I mean, that is in our ordinance, if someone is not taking care of maintaining, we can go in and clean up the property and, assess the expense and whatnot and put liens on the property, but we don't wanna get started now. We've only got, one full-time guy and a part-time guy working for us, so we
Right.
don't wanna start into that.
Probably one of my biggest concerns in the town so far is 215 South Walnut. It's on the west side, or excuse me, the east side of Walnut. Cannot even see the residents from the street because of the growth. To get to the house, it's basically just a dirt path through the weeds. I've tried to make contact with somebody there, and all I get is a pit bull just, screaming at the door.
Yeah.
That's a situation that the fence is dilapidated, it backs up against the park.
Well, that fence is in the alley,
Okay,
so if it goes, it needs to go. Because that was surveyed and we did work down through there, and, it's in the alley.
so that's another one that, you talk about vermin and rats and those kind of things. That's certainly on the top of the priority list of trying to
I
remediate.
might mention to you, Jeff, that I talked to Robin, the trustee, and about that situation I just mentioned, and she said that the woman in question has not come down to see Robin, but Robin is willing to help as much as she can. But she's waiting for the resident to come and apply for help or ask for help. So
She's working at Casey's,
yeah, she was. I
Yeah,
guess
that's
she
what she
still
told me.
is a little bit. Yeah.
and her house is up on property tax sale October
So-
1st.
Yeah, the house on Walnut is not owned, to the best I can see, on it by the property tax card,
Right.
by the resident, so.
No,
That's correct.
I think what I'll do is I'll contact the property owner and try to get some kind of remediation started with them.
That's a contract deal there. I know the property owner
Okay.
on that property. I've spoke with him personally on that in the past. It's been that way for quite some time, and it's just getting worse and worse.
Well, I'm gonna stub my toe for probably a few weeks, trying to learn people and the different residences. I just ask you kind of be patient with me, but I promise you, you will see some remediation when somebody's on.
Wear them steel toe shoes.
Yeah, you better make sure they're high boots too.
We have one property in town that, the owner of the property informed me today he had sent the town a letter, about ADA and that type of thing. I have not seen that letter yet to know what that says, so I would like to be able to get a copy of that, so I kinda know how
Chris?
to move forward.
Murray had me read it, it's in his mailbox. It's in his folder.
Get it and give it to Jeff.
Maybe make a copy for you.
Get a copy for Jeff and then give it back to Murray. Some of these probably won't get people come to the door even if they're home, because if they have no idea what you're there for,
This
so.
is ADA, can I get a copy?
you'll probably
We've been
have
through
to
this before.
just leave a notice on the door and,
Okay.
some of them are gonna be,
Just
that
make it
if
half
they
a
won't
dozen.
cooperate, you just have to put a ticket on there and let them, then you'll get some action if they know that they're gonna have to get in the pocketbook and
Hey,
pay
at
a
least
fine or
we got an
something, so.
answer.
But the
I tried not to do that first
That's
time.
pretty
I don't wanna
fair,
put
right?
tickets on anybody that's willing to cooperate, or
Absolutely.
tow anybody's car, or, I'd rather see the warning and all that and make sure that they are aware that they have a,
What I-
notice or something and then give them opportunity to
What I've
correct
done
it.
so far is just give them a notice of violation, a ticket without a fine attached to it, a copy of the ordinance, say, okay, here's where we're at, you got 7 days or whatever to remediate this, and I'm gonna check back with you here in a few days to see where we're at.
It's great.
And I think, you catch more flies with sugar, sometimes you do with vinegar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start out with the sugar, and see what we get.
That's
And then
great.
if we have to
That's great.
use a little bit of vinegar, then unfortunately we have to.
Yeah, some you will.
But you are right, 90% of the doors I knock, nobody answers. That's all I have.
Give one to Caitlin.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry, I assumed there was a little bit more to the letter.
Me
than-
too.
than
Yeah.
what there was, so,
Yeah.
I guess maybe
Not
I
much to
can
it.
speak with you about the ADA
Yeah.
and that type of thing
That'd be
after the
good.
meeting. Thank
Okay.
you.
Any more Master Key Fitztown?
I got one.
You got one?
Yeah, I
Okay,
got
I just
one.
seen in your report where you
Right.
come on to do
I
some
didn't-
paperwork and
yeah.
it was
I didn't even
after
think
hours.
to ask for one, and then, I couldn't get in one day to clock in, and so Jennifer got me one that evening.
Okay, great, just wanna make sure you had access to get in to make copies or whatnot.
Okay, we ready for old business? Ball diamonds are on the business, on the old business. I know I mentioned a week or meeting or a couple ago that we might want to pursue the avenue of selling that ball field. And what do we have to do to make those, not that we're gonna do it, but what are some of the first steps that we need to take to, get ready to sell that piece of property?
Let's get appraised first.
Yeah, generally you have to have two unless there's certain, if it's like less than 15 grand, or there's some other reasons that wouldn't apply, but I don't see any of those applying here.
Okay,
So generally it's two appraisals, and the general procedure is after the appraisals, there's a minimum bid, publishing notice, and then just doing a typical, putting it out for bid.
And it's gotta sell for the lowest appraisal price, is that correct? You can't take anything lower
Average
than it.
between the two, I think. That's my best recollection. But it also says before the time that it's expired, you can sell it to the best and highest bidder, or you can just reject everybody. So that's always an option if you don't get what you want to.
And it has to be a certified appraiser.
Yep.
Yeah.
Licensed and professionally engaged in making appraisals.
Well, appraisals ain't cheap, so before we do that, I'd like to make some phone calls and see if I can't find some organizations that might be interested in that, between now and the next board meeting. I'd like to contact over at Grand Park and see if there's any of them organizations over there that are, established that are looking for extra playing fields and diamonds, and like I said, I know there's a lot of need and for that diamond.
if we find somebody like that, do we still have to do an appraisal to sell it to them?
If we sell it, but I'm looking to see if they wanna lease it or take over use of it and town maintain it, or keep it and they maintain
We
it.
want to stay in the ballpark business?
Well, I wanna find a company that'll take everything, they take 100% responsibility of everything down there, and we have them to fix what's necessary and come up with a contract where it's all theirs. We don't get involved with it, as long as it's maintained and kept up to as good a shape as it is now or better. And with the issues that we had with that property to start with, that is a liability issue, has to be repaired before we let anybody on the field start with. And then after that, get a contract that is a good, solid contract. But I'd like to keep that property if at all possible. I don't want to really get rid of it. I mean, that would be the very last option as far as my opinion. I don't want to start getting rid of town properties, especially the ballpark.
I know we paid $15,000 for the property itself. Of course, I know that was 40 years ago, but the property's gone up a lot too.
Yeah.
And that's not counting all the money that went into it and all the work, so.
Yeah.
And,
The 5 acres next to it sold for 120.
pardon me?
The 5 acres next to it is sold for 120.
Yes.
How many acres, what is that property?
Five. Yeah.
That's 5 acres, okay.
The ball field's 5 acres?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to make some phone calls and see if I can't find some interest in it, and, you know, if they do happen to come up to the council and throw out their spiel and.
Okay, so if that's an option that we want to pursue, we need to be positioned when they're ready with a piece of legal documentation, a lease. We need to be prepared with that, so we can't wait until we find somebody and then start working about a lease. So if we want to lease it out, we need to be getting our ducks in a
We were given a couple
row.
months ago,
Interrupt
those
me.
leases that Hamilton Heights has and for Cicero Fields and the Tipton lease that Tipton has for the high school and schools that we can look over, and we have them on file in our books. Took them home.
Well, then we need to be
They
getting them
should
out
be-
and starting to look at them and see what we want what language we want in leases and whatever, instead of waiting till the last minute to find somebody and then say, oh, well, let us get a lease together.
Well, you know, I don't agree with that, Pam. I think we need to have someone that's interested come and see what they're offering, what they're interested in doing, and then have a contract put together between the two with our
Identity.
requirements, their requirements. And, you know, I mean, it's kind of hard to put a lease together without knowing what they're willing to do or what they're wanting to use it for or whatever, and, you know,
What do
kind of need their spiel.
What do we want to do with it? Isn't that
We
who?
want kids to play on the fields.
I just don't want to really, like I said, I hate to see it be sold, and I just would, you know, like to see whatever we could get that would have a good firm contract and have somebody that's responsible to maintain that property without us.
Okay, what kind of a time frame do we want to work on to find this
I can make some
person?
phone calls and around and see about, you know, what I can find out by the next board meeting.
Okay.
And if I can get anybody that's interested in it, I'll just, you know, try to set a time for them to come to a council meeting to discuss it with the council, if I can find anybody out there that is willing to lease it or wanting to use it, that will maintain the property and 100% where we don't have to go out there, we don't have to maintain anything, we don't repair nothing.
And that's legal jargon too, a legal document too, that, you know, we have to decide what we want from these people
Right.
and get our ducks in a row for that too. I just,
My main thing is I don't wanna do nothing with it. I mean, I don't wanna have to maintain it, I don't wanna go out there, I
Right.
don't wanna mow, I don't wanna trim, I don't wanna maintain the parking lots, whoever does, I wanna make some type of agreement to, they repair everything before we would even let anybody on the property, the things that we know is a liability, such as the
Right.
roofs and different issues that we have already addressed. And that would be priority, they have to fix that, and then from that point on, they take over the 100% of maintaining that and the whole 9 yards out
and
there.
if they don't, what kind of teeth do we have? will we have in a contract? I mean, I'm saying, there
Well-
needs to be the teeth in there too, that if they don't,
That'll be language is what they have to offer and what we're gonna require, and that would be written in a contract, and then that, you know, they breach a contract if they don't, you know, if we put together an agreement and we have certain specific things they have to follow, and, you know, it'd be done up by the attorney,
Yeah.
and, you know, it'd be breach of contract and
I mean,
legal,
to send,
but,
selling or leasing, they're still supposed to be, I mean, leasing, you can use an RFP, but you're still supposed, if you're going to completely lease it and not just enter into some kind of like use agreement or something, if you really just, you know, want to truly totally use it, you still should, you know, use either bidding or, you know, request proposals from certain folks that may be interested, I don't know.
We tried
There's,
yeah, we tried that and we had.
Did 3 and not one of them turned it in.
yeah,
And we had the 3 companies that all was just gung ho about it, but they were local and small, and I think that we might get better results from, you know, bigger organization like Grand Parks. And they would have other companies that they're associated with that may be needing a place that would,
So then what is our initial intent? To find someone to completely maintain the ball diamond and for the town to make a small profit or no profit?
well, that's something that we could discuss with them at the time that we, you know, somebody's interested and then they come in and give their
Yeah, I think
spiel,
you
we
gotta
can
find
discuss
somebody
all that.
interested in this.
Because like I say, there's repairs out there that I don't wanna spend any more town money on it. I want that to be part of the agreement, they fix it and get it prepared, get it play ready, and then go from there, and then that maybe the first year there's no fee, and then next year maybe charge or something and come up. And we can check around to what other places are charging for these places to use these diamonds and stuff to rent them. It ain't cheap, especially depending on the type of ball organization it is, whether it's a profit or non-for-profit, whether it's a travel team and all that, so, you know, it just depends on what type of interest group they
Nowadays,
come up
it's
here on.
mostly travel teams, except for the schools.
Yeah, you're right, but
Can I say something? Andy 1 and Andy 2 sure have worked a lot out there lately. It really looks nice. It looks better now than what it's
Yeah.
been for quite a while, so
We're
I
trying.
think it ought to be recognized.
We're trying.
yes, and I,
Put his
Thank you,
tail
Andy.
out there.
yeah, that's,
You're welcome.
I'd like
Andy and Andy.
to take that,
Andy
take
1 and
that,
Andy 2.
I'd like to take that detail off of them too, so that they don't have to maintain it, so if we could get somebody that would take interest in it. I don't really wanna get rid of any town
Well, if we
properties.
can't find somebody who's really interested and committed, we always have the option of selling.
how many years are we gonna look for somebody before we decide?
Well,
What
if
to
we
do.
hadn't got in the ordeal that we did before and all the stuff that went on in the lawsuit, it would've, you know,
Might have been, yeah.
it probably would have been still going on out there if we'd had a decent organization in the first place. You know, they breached contract and they want to turn around and sue us, so, you know, I don't want nobody like that. I wanna make sure we got somebody that's legit, that, has done this before and they've got references that, you know, they're a good organization. They've played somewhere else, there's
And
never
we did
been no
have some
problems with
that
them
were
or something like that.
interested, but COVID-19
I
had
wanna do a
us.
little research on whoever we're looking into and make sure that we're not gonna run into the same issues we have in the past.
Sounds feasible.
So you're gonna do that then, John? You're gonna make some,
Yeah, I'll make some phone calls and see if I can't get some information back by the next board meeting.
will that be enough time? I mean, I don't, if you're
I'll-
really
I'll-
trying to do
I'm-
this, John, I wanna give you the time that
Well,
it takes.
I'll see what I can do and, you know, I'll report back at the next board meeting of what, you know, whether I was able to have any luck finding somebody or not, or if, you know, I had somebody maybe,
Cause you're only looking at 2 weeks, you know, roughly here.
Yeah,
That's not really
and,
much.
you know,
That's not-
and it might not be, but at least, you know, I'll make the effort to see what you know, what information I get and then I'll relay it back at the next board meeting and we could go from there.
All right.
Any other old business? Nope. New business. We have Miss Nelson on our list of new business.
What was I thinking?
I don't know.
Hello, everybody.
with all the, you know, fun that everyone's had this year with the pandemic, train shows have been canceled right and left, and Steve has had a lot of feedback about people wanting to do a train show, and we thought that it might be possible to do one in the street on Saturday, October the 5th, so it's all outdoors under tents. And we were wondering if we could ask your consideration to close the street down, just from basically our building to Railroad here, and let people, you know, pay their $10 and put up their tent and advertise a train show and bring people into tent. So, I know you probably need to discuss that. I don't expect an answer tonight, but we appreciate your consideration.
When do you want this, October what?
October the 5th.
Is that a Saturday?
Yeah, it's a Saturday.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No. The 3rd's a Saturday.
Okay, October the 3rd. That was the date Steve gave me, I'm sorry.
Never trust a man.
Never trust him. You know, he sends me in here, he says, I'm teaching tonight, can you do this? And I'm like, what am I doing?
Is there any restrictions?
Thank you.
They have to be 6 feet apart or?
Yeah, we did a vendor event. We did a vendor event in a building in Tipton the other weekend, and they put 6 feet between the booths, and
Oh, yeah.
it was fine.
Definitely
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah, it was fine.
Looks like my own closing the road regulations, like on COVID, I mean, I think there's still a restriction on the number of people, I can't remember that off the top of my head, but I don't know how big this is gonna be, but I doubt it's there, but.
At
you're
any
still supposed
given
to try to-
time, you know, you might have 10 or 15 tables and an equal number of people walking around. So it would not be a huge crowd at one time, it would be over between 10 and 3 on a Saturday, so they would be spaced out pretty well.
I was thinking most of them, they approved up to 50,
Right.
you know, so if you're not expecting that big a crowd,
No, not at
of
one
course you never
time.
know, you know, yeah.
What's the town's liability on that with this COVID and stuff going on if we were to allow them to use the town street?
I'd have to look into just allowing rather than like sponsoring, I mean, I wouldn't advise,
Okay,
you
could
know,
check into
hosting or
that?
throwing an event, but I can just look into actual, just blocking off a street and not.
It's probably not dissimilar to the restaurants that were allowed to put their tables out on the streets. As long as you're practicing, you know, sanitation and face masks, et cetera, we should be okay, but.
I can look at it.
Does the town have any objection to closing the street for that period of time? I don't.
I'd like to, Caitlin, to research the liability on it and see what liability with this COVID and stuff the town may have. And also, if we were to prove it, I would like to request that your insurance, town be added as
Oh, sure.
additional insured for liability purposes.
For sure.
Kevin Slaughterback is on the agenda, but he's not
I
here.
think he just pulled up.
Oh,
On his
I
way?
heard a motorcycle.
oh,
Yeah.
Want me to tell him he's up?
Yep, there he is.
well, perfect timing, Kevin.
I guess I have one thing, if we have a second.
What's up?
I thought the last meeting when I wasn't here, we talked about this fire truck going to Jackson,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Possibly.
That's not,
Oh, they said
No.
they're buying a new one.
They're probably buying one, so that one.
White River then is,
cause
Our
there's,
next-
I mean, I don't have an issue with it, but there's like both entities have to pass the exact same resolution, basically. If you wanna transfer equipment between two, so I just wanted to say that, but if not, then we can talk about other, if you guys want to get rid of it, other disposal procedures. 'Cause there's a lot out there for
there'd been some talk
fire
about
equipment.
White River maybe be interested in it, because all their equipment's older than ours.
Yeah, and that would be
So-
the same kind of just passing the same resolutions and then,
If we were to sell it to them, is it, instead of, we're not just
yeah,
giving it to them, if we sell. and
yeah,
get
you can
sales
agree
rep,
on an amount to sell for.
And then still do the resolution as it's purchased, okay.
And then there's all sorts of stuff about transferring things to volunteer departments or fire protection districts, territories, stuff like that. So you can either go under that, or you can just do the same resolutions between the two government entities. So whenever you guys, you know.
Murray was gonna look into that and then
Okay.
see about getting that appraised and see what the truck was worth and see if White River was interested. So
Okay.
right now, we don't know.
That sounds
Jackson's
good.
buying a new truck, so they
I'll just
don't want
keep
it.
that on the back burner just in case.
All right, Kevin,
Hey.
you're on the agenda. New business.
Hi, I apologize for being late.
You're right on time.
You're right on time, yeah.
I planned it that way. I've got 2 cases on the BZA waiting in front of me, and I don't have enough board members. And I know we spoke of this a while back, and it kind of went flat because we found somebody and everything was okay, but I managed to get up one person, and of course they moved out. Now I'm back down to 2 of us. And really, I'm asking for your help.
What positions do you need them from?
I need 5, I only got 2.
What affiliation do they gotta
I
be?
gotta have at least 3.
Requirements.
2,
I have to have 3 for quorum.
Mhm.
The requirement's common sense.
What party?
no.
No.
Political affiliation doesn't matter.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it does.
One of them has to be appointed by the Plan Commission. 3 of them have to be citizens here in town.
So who are you?
There can be more than one from the Plan Commission if they wanna cross over.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can get another crossover. It can't be the town council, can't be me.
Right.
Anybody interested in being on BZA?
Berta?
Berta? All right, there you go, there's one.
All right, very good. I've asked one
2 more.
individual, but I haven't
Just
heard
go meet
back.
on Monday night or?
I haven't heard
Anybody
back.
else?
Girls in the
We
back.
need 5 total.
I'm not allowed to do anything.
Neela's
Neela?
on there.
Yeah, I'm not.
Neela's
She's
on
out of
Neela?
town.
I'm out of town.
Neela and I are the consistency
Yeah, we're-
on that board.
We show up no matter what, don't we?
Yeah, even with the punishment. Like these guys.
Glutton for punishment.
Well, that'll get me started, but I really would, yeah, you know,
I've been trying to think somebody can.
And I've got one individual, he's really thinking hard about it, because a lot of them are nervous going, what do we do? Well, we don't, you know, everybody right away saying, well, I don't want to tell somebody they can't do it. I'm like, that ain't the point, that ain't what we're doing. We're making sure they don't mess up the town somehow. We're here to represent the town. And once I explained it to them, they're a little more easy about it. And I said no once. I'm an easy person. It's like, as long as they comply with us, so.
Now, is there a conflict with a family member being on another board?
And that shouldn't be with the board, it wouldn't be like nepotism or anything
There
like
wouldn't,
that.
there would be no conflicts there.
No.
It's a separate board, you're not.
Thinking of somebody on this board and on my board?
I was thinking about, my son lives right down the street from me.
Chet was on my board.
I might ask him.
And Chet was on my board for 2-3 years.
I can ask my son if he'd be interested in being in. How many times you guys usually meet a year?
When necessary.
You don't have to meet as,
It's at least once a year, twice a year at times. Like I've got 2 people now waiting. Of course, they always wait until July and want to get it in before fall type of thing. But besides all that point, we try. So I'm gonna combine these 2 and try to knock out one meeting. And we usually end up with one probably November, wanting for the snow to float for the snow flies. Like really, so yeah. You know, I mean that's just the nature of the beast. And I usually, I go Thursdays at 7 p.m. because you guys are Tuesdays, when I can remember it. So I try to stay away from you, since I share this room with you guys. And it's no more than 2 hours. As long as they come prepared. I'm getting better at honing that in. I want prints, I want measurements.
I can ask him and see, I don't know whether, he's changed his work and he's off by 5 o'clock, so he'd be available for him, so.
Yeah, well, I can get a bite to eat, you know? I'm that way. I get a bite to eat, then I come over.
Okay.
So I appreciate it, guys, so I will get with the other applicant, and I'll get that going. Oh, I thank you, Jennifer. And we'll get something set up in the next 20 days and get these guys taken care of. So, anybody else, I mean, great frame of mind, I don't care. Just sit and we'll listen. Thank you.
Is there any other New business. We'll open it up for,
I'd like to get an executive session scheduled
okay.
for the first part of September. Sooner the better. First week, the first and the third available.
Yeah.
Anytime.
First and the third of the available days?
First and third's available.
Okay.
September 1st and 3rd, anytime, evening or
What days
early.
are those?
Pardon,
That's
that's
Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Yeah,
What time are you looking at?
anytime, evenings or,
Both of those are my dialysis days.
okay.
What time works for you on those days?
Well, in the evening would be fine. I
Okay.
usually done about 10:30 in the morning.
How about
But it
9?
wears me out and I have to take a couple hour nap.
How about the 9th on Wednesday, on the 9th, following week?
September 9th?
Yeah, September 9th. I'd like for everybody to be here on this
That'd be
meeting,
fine.
so I wanna make sure that we can get this thing scheduled where everybody will be available.
September 9th?
So what, September?
September 9th, Wednesday, September 9th.
What time, John?
What works best for you guys?
I'm available anytime on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I am too, with my work schedule, you know. What works best for you? Want to have it during the day or in the evening or?
Does anybody work?
So instead of the first and third, it'll be the ninth?
Yeah, scratch first and third and we'll go September the 9th.
And she'll need to advertise like the statutory reason too.
Right, 2 days before, 48 hours before.
But she'll have to put like, so there's.
What's it for?
There's certain,
It's for employee personnel issue.
okay, yeah, so you'll know that, you know which section.
And what time did you say, John?
We haven't came up with a time. What works best for you guys? Whatever.
6 o'clock, 5, 6, or you want earlier, or later?
We're doing it.
Do it during the day if you want
Yeah.
to do it during the day and get it over with.
During the
we can
day.
Do it in the evening.
Let's do it during the day.
Maybe 6 o'clock?
Well, Pam's saying
Well-
day, during
Oh,
the
okay,
day.
during the day, well, that's fine with me too.
Give us time, Pam. We'll let you pick the time.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
Okay.
That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any public comment? Then, I guess we'll entertain a motion to sign the claims
I
and
make a motion, to sign claims during the meeting.
second. Going once?
I'm second. I'm sorry. My mom's saying,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Closed.